Right, Jamie, I'm just giving everybody a second to join us, and then I'm going to add you in like a second. I'm just waiting for everybody to join in, and then we'll get started. We'll give it like just another minute, Jamie, and then we'll get started. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another Plastic Free July Facebook Live conversation. And as you guys would have seen on the poster, we are interviewing an incredible young lady this evening. And I'm so excited to chat with her and share some of her views with you guys. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna bring you on so long, Jamie. Yeah.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good and you?
I'm very well, thank you. Looking beautiful as always.
Thank you, so do you.
I'm just gonna give it like a minute just for everybody to come on. Hi Frank. Oh my goodness, how are you doing? Long time no see. I hope you're
I'm
well. I see you joining us. Okay. I think I'm just gonna start and people will get us along the conversation because I don't want to keep it too long. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, welcome back to yet another amazing Facebook Live chat this evening for Plastic Free July, and we are officially on day 21. And as we've been saying for the entire month, it only takes 21 days for something to become a habit. So, if you started this journey with us on the 1st of July, that means today it's an official habit. It's not just Plastic Free July, it's not just a commitment, it's a habit. So, well done to everybody that has taken up the challenge and that's been a part of this incredible campaign that we as Visions of Change, this is our second year being a part of it, but it is the official 11th year that the campaign is being celebrated globally. So tonight we are chatting to an incredible young lady that she has a qualification in environmental science. She was also a Miss Earth South Africa semi-finalist for 2020. But most of all, you would have seen her face all over social media right now because she is the beautiful Jamie Cloete, who is the current one of the top 30 contestants for Miss South Africa. Jamie,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
I'm
so much for
excited to have this
making the
with you.
time. Thank you so much for making the time to chat to us. I'm just going to respond to a few greetings quickly. Frank, I'm well. We need to catch up and do some campaigns when this craziness is over. So I'll definitely talk to you soon. Our eco queen, Denal. Evening. Carmen is saying future Miss essay. Carmen, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. So
Hi,
we're gonna
Carmen.
jump straight. We're gonna jump straight into this conversation, and I'm gonna kickstart the conversation by a very simple question, Jamie. What does Plastic Free July mean to you?
I feel like Plastic Free July is an amazing way that millions of people can participate in the solution of the plastic problem we are facing in our world. And with COVID, we all get our information through social media. And this is a great way that we can share and communicate and motivate others to reduce their single-use plastics.
Definitely. And then obviously I slightly mentioned that you have a degree in environmental science. You ended Miss Earth. So somewhere along the line, deep down, there's this passion for the environment. What is that all about and what inspires that inspiration?
I think what inspired it was not only my lecturers and my teachers that spoke so passionately about the environment, it's also that we depend on our environment for everything. And if we protect our environment, we improve livelihoods and access to basic human rights. So I think that's just a passion that I would like to protect our environment so we can improve livelihoods.
Amazing. And obviously, like I've said, you are currently one of the top 30 contestants for Miss South Africa. So, first of all, a very big congratulations on that achievement. And we
Thank
continue to wish you all of the very best on that journey. And for those of you that have not voted yet, voting ends tonight, midnight. So, do head over to Jamie's page on Facebook and Instagram. You can find that Jamie Cloete. And in her bios and on her pages, you will see all the details of how you can vote. So please do vote for her.
you. Yeah,
Um, a few hours left, yes. So tell us just a bit about your experience in entering Miss South Africa and what's it been like so far.
oh, it's been amazing. I wanted to enter Miss South Africa since I was a little girl. It feels like I'm finally living my dream by making it through to the top 30. And I used to watch the former Miss South Africas on the stage, and they were so brave and they spoke so passionately about the causes close to their heart. And I felt that, like these brave women, I too want to create positive change by using my knowledge and my qualifications as well as my passions. And yes,
Yeah.
and also I have spoken to the Miss South Africa organization and the other contestants. We've met virtually. They are an awesome group of people. And I've learned so many life lessons in these few weeks that I can take with me for everyday life.
That's amazing, Jamie. And obviously, Miss South Africa is such a dynamic and influential platform. Um, and like our previous winners, they get to really advocate for, like you said, causes that are very dear to them: gender-based violence, good quality education, empowering young women. How would you use the Miss South Africa platform to advocate for the environment? Because obviously, this is a first to have someone um, that's passionate about the environment on such a platform and in such a space. So how will you use up that space to continue using your voice to advocate for the environment?
Yes. Well, as I said, if we look after environment, we improve access to livelihoods and basic needs such as food, sanitation, and water. And so if we look at these three topics, example, food, the COVID-19 virus, it affected many, they lost their jobs, and it also led to food insecurity. And so I would like to use my platform to encourage food rescue programs, also perhaps start community food gardens. This is a way that we can reduce our carbon footprint, but also allow that people have access to nutritious food. We could also create youth programs where youth can learn important skills in agriculture and gardening. And yeah, I also think when it comes to sanitation,
So yeah, I have a bit of a
from
scratchy
my
throat.
dad. um, Another environmental problem that we see is in sanitation. Even today, if we look at even today, women
I'm
and
reading your dad's comment.
yes, we see how schoolgirls cannot get an
Yeah.
education or they miss out on important school days because they don't have access to the proper menstruation hygiene products.
Yeah.
So I use my platform to engage and collaborate with partners, donors, and decision makers in how we can improve the hygiene as well as educate girls on menstruation health and allow access for them to have um, reusable menstruation cups, the reusable sanitary towels, and these are also eco-friendly.
Yeah. For those of you that have just joined us, we are continuing our Plastic Free July Facebook Live conversations, and this evening we are joined by an amazing, beautiful, phenomenal young woman, Jamie Cloete, who is currently one of the top 30 contestants for Miss South Africa, and she was also a semi-finalist for the Miss Earth South Africa 2020. So please do drop us your comments. We see all the love coming in. Thank you, Daddy. Um, we please do drop us any comments, any questions that you have for Jamie, and you guys can engage with this conversation. Jamie, you spoke about all these different campaigns and projects that we can really get involved in, and it's really amazing when we get to see young women taking up spaces to empower other young women and the generations that will follow us, whether it being good quality education campaigns, whether it being health and hygiene, livelihoods, and environmental education. And you've touched on that a bit in terms of what we can do for our communities. But do you think that our communities at this point have enough access to those kinds of campaigns like Plastic Free July and having, a lot of people does these hygiene drives where they collect sanitary towels and they take it into the vulnerable communities. But do you think that these campaigns are reaching those vulnerable communities?
I feel that they are reaching them. I've seen many campaigns online and in the newspapers, but it's also important that we educate ourselves on where are places of need and how can we help them best.
Definitely. And then I had the privilege actually of having you join me for a beach cleanup last year. And we all during Plastic Free July, we always make the reference of a beach cleanup because we always get two types of people. That one group of people that's gonna get on board and become conscious about their role in the problem and how they can get involved. And then you usually get that other group of people that would ask, but why are you doing it? Tomorrow it's gonna be the same. So just what are some of your views on that kind of perception when it comes to campaigns?
I feel like it's in line with what you said earlier. If you practice it enough, you practice reducing your single-use plastics, it'll eventually become a habit and become second nature to practice it every single day. For example, I now put the reusable bags or produce bags in my car or in my handbag. So whenever I go to the shop, then it's right there and I don't have to
Yeah.
carry everything. Yes.
Definitely. And with your announcement of making the top 30 South Africa, one of the points that stood out on the announcement was they said that you would love to meet the Minister of Environmental Affairs and discuss environmental issues in South Africa. What are some of the main, or just mention maybe one or two main aspects within the environmental protection of South Africa that is really dear to you and that's something that you would genuinely want to take to the table?
I feel that it would be the insecurity issue and how we can best improve access to food. So perhaps discussing with her how would we go about food gardens in our local communities.
Yeah. Definitely. And as many of us knows, those that has been following the Visions of Change Facebook and Instagram accounts, many of you would have seen that South Africa is in fact not going to sign the Global 3D to ban single-use plastics. And this is a very pressing topic right now. And there's a lot of discussion around the topic. Some of the talking points that came out of the leak draft document was to say that South Africa is concerned about the economical impact that it will have, especially on employment or unemployment in this case. Um, so, what are some of your views, if you can share with us, obviously, in terms of where South Africa is at in terms of the global 3D?
I had a look at the document, and South Africa is still considering the pros and cons of this treaty. I feel that we should not overlook that South Africa does have many environmental laws and regulations that do reduce plastic, such as the Environmental Management Waste Act and the Marine Prevention of Pollution of Ships. And if we look at the developing countries that were hit hard by COVID-19, they are currently struggling to pay or finance the contribution or contribute
Mhm.
to the funding and to the existing agreements.
Yeah,
And yeah, so I think a new treaty would further put strain on these developing countries. If South Africa is to reject the treaty, I would recommend that they consider ways to manage their marine litter and the plastic waste. This could be in the form of reducing the demand of single-use plastics,
yeah,
um, also ensuring that there are recycling bins in communities and avoiding plastics that can't be recycled, and managing the life cycle of plastics from the design and the production stage all the way to the waste prevention. I
definitely.
personally, I personally believe that South Africa should consider participating in agreements that protect the environment.
And I think you've just kind of added so much to this conversation because we've kind of been touching on it with every, I mean, this is our sixth live interview that we're having. And with every conversation, we kind of always just touched base with our guests to say, what are your views and how do you see this current, I mean, leaking of documents and the current situation just around the global 3D? Um, and, you know, we always advocate that awareness and education, and you've said it again in tonight's interview that you need to educate yourself. It's so important to before being able to understand how do we contribute to the problem or how we can be a part of the solution. The very first thing for us to do is educate ourselves and understand the bigger picture of this crisis when it comes to plastic. And you've really just added so many different ways to look at this as well by saying that, South Africa at this point, it seems as if, they're going to reject, but there are so many ways that we can still continue these talks. And that's one of the many reasons why Plastic Free July live conversations is so important to Visions of Change. So because we want to spark these conversations in our communities, in our schools, with individuals, with different eco warriors, all in their different spaces, and just encourage people to have this conversation and to go and read up and to understand when we're speaking about this global 3D, what's it all about? Where does South Africa fit into that bigger picture? I mean, you just touched on the marine aspect now. I mean, I'm sure many people just browse through the information and, they make a decision. So it's very important, like you said, to educate yourself and to really understand and look at all the different aspects of it and really see how we as young people can, and that's always something that we say, it's so important. We as young people, we really want a seat at the table where we can spark these types of solutions and say, you know maybe as a country, we're not 100% ready to fully accept it because of so many different other issues that we're already facing in our country. But there are so many other measures and ways that we can, and smaller measures and short-term measures that we can focus on first and implement those first and slowly start to work towards the greater picture. Because we always say that I think sustainability is something that cannot be done perfectly. When it comes to policies, when it comes to implementation, when it comes to society, we just can't do it perfectly because going completely without plastic is kind of impossible because it's in everything. But I think it's so important, like you said, there are so many ways and things that we can still look at and still educate ourselves about to make those small contributions to such decisions, and influence such decisions when it comes to the environment. So Jamie, we are in Plastic Free July. What are some of your sustainable lifestyle changes that you've made? I know you've mentioned the shopping bags, but what are just some of the, they don't have to be perfect. It's just some of the things that you've personally made a change in your life to say that, I want to live a more sustainable lifestyle.
Yes. Well, I have been continuing to use reusable items, so such as my bamboo toothbrush and the reusable cutlery and straws. Straws are a big issue that we face. So I know at beach cleanups, all you pick up is straws. So definitely
And
reuse.
nowadays, earbuds, eh? I know we don't know what's the thing with earbuds, but with every beach cleanup, it's just like the stick of the earbud is literally
Yes,
everywhere on the beach. I don't
yes,
know what we're gonna do about it, but
yes. So the reusable straws, the reusable cutleries, and then taking the reusable bag with me to the shop. So just practicing that every day, it makes it into a habit of reducing your single-use plastics.
definitely. I'm actually getting very shy. I just want to say thank you to your dad for the beautiful comment. It's only a pleasure. I loved working with Jamie during Arbor Month last year. And it was a great honor for me to be able to sponsor some of the trees. So thank you so much for that beautiful comment, Mr. Cloete. I do appreciate it. And then just to once again, guys, for those of you that joined us a little bit late, I'm getting caught up in the conversation. We are continuing with Plastic Free July, and this evening we are chatting to the amazing Jamie Cloete, who is one of the current top 30 contestants for Miss South Africa. And we have been chatting a bit about her views on the global 3D, on banning single-use plastic. We've also touched a bit on her journey, some of the campaigns that are really important to her, and just her views on environmental protection and where she stands in terms of what inspired her love for the environment. Jamie, so to end off this conversation, because I know you're a very busy lady and I don't want to keep you too long, um, I think I cannot end this conversation without asking this question by saying, what is the message in terms of the environment that you want to leave with our youth of today?
I want to tell the youth that small changes make a big difference. That's it. I'll leave it like that.
You leave it at that. I was expecting, like, I'm
Short and
still waiting.
short and sweet.
But it's amazing how those few words, like, usually just like hits home. Like you're waiting for this person to make this big speech about, the environment. You gotta play your part, and we gotta, all these different things. But when someone says to you, like, you know what, small changes, just one. And that's what we were saying from the beginning of Plastic Free July. We were saying, we do Plastic Free July the entire year. But just doing that one thing, and like we always say, no one does it perfectly, but it's very important to hold yourself accountable. And that's something that we've been putting a lot of emphasis on this week. I always make the example that if I accidentally use or take a single use shopping plastic bag, I hold myself accountable and I'll tell myself, okay, so I need to do like two beach cleanups to make up for that bag. Or I
Yes.
go with my nieces and my nephew to the mall or to the shops and they nag for a cool drink or something. And the stainless steel straws are deep in the handbag. The silly straws are very far. And then I have to take a self for them. And I'm like, okay, well, you guys do know that you're going to have to do a beach cleanup to make up for that one straw. And like, they already know, like, if my niece does it, she will already tell me, like, okay, mom, I need to do a beach cleanup because I used a straw. So it's something that I've also just kind of implanted in them as well to be like, okay, guys, we don't do it perfectly, but when we do something wrong or when we're not able to continue that sustainable choice that we made, we need to hold ourselves accountable and we need to kind of make up for it by doing the beach cleanup.
Definitely. I
um,
couldn't agree more.
Definitely. Guys, thank you so much for yet another amazing chat. Tonight, everything went very smoothly. We had no technical issues, which is amazing. And I think it's because we had such an amazing guest. So, Jamie, once again, from all of us at Visions of Change, we just want to thank you so much for your time and for joining us for this year's Plastic Free July live chats. And once again, we also want to wish you all the very best. Please, guys, if you have not voted, please head over to Jamie Cloete's Facebook page and Instagram account. The information on, or you can head straight to the Miss South Africa social media platforms. All the information on how to vote is there. Voting closes tonight at midnight, so you have a few hours left to vote. Jamie's number is lucky number 10. See, I know all these things because I've been voting, guys.
Thank you.
She
Thank
is
you.
number 10. So please head over and vote so our beautiful eco queen can make it to the top 10 and hopefully make it all the way to the reign of Miss South Africa 2021. Because for me personally, I would love to see a young woman reigning as Miss South Africa that is passionate about the environment, that wants to advocate for aspects of the environment. And I think that food security and just the creation of more food gardens and creating such projects within our communities and our schools, especially in those vulnerable communities, is something that is very important and we need to shed a lot of light on such matters. Um, so from all of us to all of you, for those of you that have made it to day 21, today is your day 21. So it's an official habit now, but do continue making those commitments. If you accidentally do something wrong, it's okay. Just start again tomorrow. As Jamie also mentioned, it's just those small changes that makes a difference every day. Um, so yeah, guys, we will be continuing with some more amazing live chats because we still have a few days left of July. So please stay tuned to the Visions of Change South Africa Facebook page and Instagram account for more information on that. And from all of us to all of you, stay safe, stay green, and be kind to one another. Thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you so much. I had fun. Have a good evening. Bye, everyone.